Yes, this is, I'm showing this for a reason. It's a suitcase, rolling suitcase in a backpack. Now I'm going to go in here and try not to show my living spaces here. I'm making this again this morning. This is Monday, the 13th, April, 2015. In part because I've got so many YouTubes up and on Facebook, although the Facebook's hacked. But I'm going to hurry and try to get this on this video, some of them cut off and all that. So I'm not sure it's done any good whatsoever. The media won't touch it. Let me say this first off. I was kidnapped, and that's a part of this, and I didn't know it until 1983, late, after I'd been flown to Larry Flint's, because I had written a book on MindControl Murders, and they were done in patterns deliberately, so you would think at some point they would be told. I'm not sure about that because times change over the years. Anyway, Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing the book, MD, A License to Kill. And I was in Marietta, I might have said that. It wasn't published, and I have to leave out all of it. I put some of it on YouTube because I had antifreeze put in me, April Fool Day of 80, and that's what this whole thing has been. I was illegally taken across the state line by this woman, Lina Dempsey. I was put in Moulton, that family, this is me, in 41, and this was made in 43. I was taken there and given the name of the twin and my identity stolen. She had killed her twins, Peggy and Carl, and they gave me the name of Peggy. And even the birth certificates that aren't supposed to be altered from the state of Alabama, Montgomery, have just been marked through, et cetera, all kinds of errors in it. And what I want to say here, I'm making this because I'm listening to the tapes that are being played, the videos that were made of policeman Michael Slager. I am appalled because the media has known about my kidnapping before I ever did. They have known about the mind control murders so far back, about modifying behavior, etc., and programming people to kill, making deaths appear of natural cause, whether it's suicide. They can create heart attack, stroke, cancer, you name it, or they can cure it. And there's been lists. But I want to get back to this. I'm using Mr. Flint because he flew me out there, and I'm leaving all the other out. I was illegally, let me say that, taken across the state line by this woman because she thought if the book were published, I'd find out about my kidnapping and what happened to the real Peggy Dempsey and Carl. The family covered it up, and this one, Annie Carter, later even told me when I confronted her with it, and I had a Larry Flint car, and then later I was just up back out on the side of the road, so to speak, telling all this. And anyway, I put this because Larry Flint says here, he mentions Larry McDonald, that I knew who was responsible for his shooting and the murder of his attorney. Now I want to get to this. This is Yen Zoring, a diplomat's son, was at the time, and the murders happened the last of March of 85. I was in Grottoes, Virginia at that time, and this happened in Bedford County, and I ended up down here in Bedford County. I did live there for a little bit, but it's next to Roanoke. So anyway, Elizabeth Haysom is in prison. They were UVA students. And I want to say this, I've never spoken with Rolling Stone magazine, but you know the way they've been treated, the University of Virginia, maybe they should look into some of this and they'd sure clear their name and put the blame where it belongs. There's a lot of things going on there, too, that they haven't told. So anyway, I want to say this. I heard on the tapes, and maybe I sound rambling this morning, I heard on the tapes this morning over NBC and probably all over, it was a tape where they have the policeman making it sound like he's getting a kick out of the murder. Um, I wonder how many people have laughed. I would like to be able to show it what's been done to me when I've tried to tell people about what's going on and what they did to me, and what was used on me to make me move from place to place and really just torture. It's terrorism. They found it funny. The world would be shocked if they saw it. So it's appalling to me to see them show the videos. And this policeman is a victim of mind control, just as the man Scott, Mr. Scott, is. It had to be to bring the two together. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know what will happen. I hope the media is held accountable. For over the years, they've been a puppet of the New World Order, and that's true. The Obamas, Hillary Clinton, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, the Freemasons that helped kidnap me and bring me over to this country. I want to do this real quick, though. This is Jack Hartsville, and I hope he's alive. I hope he doesn't mind me using it. That was the reason he sent me some of the letters. He was a person that saved my life when I worked for the district attorney after this woman, the antifreeze, and this woman took me across the state line back to Huntsville illegally. Jack saved my life there. Now then, this is a letter he sent me. He's FBI, too. He talks about MK Ultra, and he talks about he knows Mr. Flint. He lived out there for a while, but here's what I wanted to say, and I won't get into any more of it. I've got other letters, but I knew about it. I'm using this because people just dismiss it. At quiet moments, I do try to make a ground assessment of all the above. If the dastardly events above, particularly as related to the FBI's Division 5 and assorted shenanigans, were public, what would be the results? It could perhaps be very destabilizing for the nation as a whole. The Huntsville experiments, that's Huntsville, Alabama, NASA, the agony of 63, which agony, heck, it was a mind control shooting and covered up by the Warren Commission, but then the Kennedys kidnapped me. Joe Kennedy was the ambassador, and his two sons, JFK, and the older one flew in and out and stayed at the embassy and helped in my kidnapping. But anyway, he's saying what would be the aftermath when people knew how it affected them. So, anyway, I wanted to put that up, and I'll just say this, there's a long list of the mind control murders. They modify your behavior, and you don't know it. If you did find out and you went to a doctor, they'd refer you to a psychiatrist, and you know what's going to happen to you. All this mess has been building up psychiatry, and like everyone needs to put their kids into therapy and all this. The Tucson, Arizona shootings with Gabby Gifford and her husband, she was shot, and her husband's twin Mark Kelly, and Scott Kelly's his twin brother. Now, I did that for a purpose because these were mind control murders, and they were done in patterns. The Sandy Hook with the young fella, I've forgotten his name right at the moment. How would you like for your child to be programmed and commit an act that he doesn't know and has no control over, and he's put away in prison and charged with a murder that he's a victim himself, and given psychotic drugs for a non-existent illness? Because mind control has nothing to do with mental illness. Now then, I wanted to go back and pick up the Columbine. Okay, and here's another one, the Waco, and there's a whole list of them, but there's lists of people who have been knocked off using mind control. There's some stars, but there's people, and believe me, it was done to other countries. It was used on them. But let me just mention a couple more while this is going. Governor George Wallace was one. I'm going to put one in here. Duke Wayne was.